What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today, and we are going to be doing an experiment to see which team Deshaun Watson should choose to play for. Of course, at the end of the day, if the Texans feel that, this ship is long gone sailed and they have to trade him, he will ultimately be the decider because he does have the no trade clause. It's a very interesting back and forth because at the end of the day, if he chooses not to be traded, then he kind of has to stay, which is probably in the end what the Texans want, because the Texans, they didn't choose to have this whole Deshaun Watson trade things going down. It's just they didn't really value him as much as they should have, and of course, ultimately they let his head coaching job candidate he wanted go to the New York Jets, which makes them the number one candidate for him to be traded to. Of course, we have two other teams on the list, and we will most likely be doing a 5-year sim on each team to kind of see which choice is the best for him, and then potentially the Texans. Of course, you would assume the Texans are going to get very, very, very high compensation for him, maybe slightly less than if they just chose to trade him out of nowhere, because of course teams do know that he is unhappy, so at the end of the day, they're going to get good value, but they also do know the Texans are in a kind of a bad spot. But we start off in the Super Bowl with the Bills winning over the Packers. I'm going to let the AI do what they want to do, and we are going to go to the draft because we will be trading right now, hopefully, for Mr. Deshaun Watson. Obviously, I don't know if it's even physically possible, but we're going to try. If they do trade for Deshaun Watson, I would assume Darnold will be a part of the trade, depending. It depends on what the Jets value Darnold as, because honestly, if I'm the Texans, I don't value Darnold super, super high, but if they're willing to throw him in instead of like a third round or a second round pick, I'd probably take it. But obviously, if Darnold is valued at even pick 23 here, I'd probably say, nah, you can keep Darnold, we'll take someone at 2. But obviously, it kind of appears that we will not be able to make this trade, and I think I'll be making my own evaluation, I guess, but we will have to start this on the Texans for all 3 teams. As we look on this side of things, and they won't take it, but I think a very fair trade for Deshaun Watson could be pick number 2 overall, 23, and Williams here, with giving up their own third-round pick. I think that could be a very fair trade, because a 25-year-old, not even in his prime yet, top-tier quarterback is not easy to come by. This is what I'm going to value it at. So what we will be doing is we're just going to give them, on this end, we're going to give them Deshaun Watson for free, and then we're going to go back to the Jets. Did they not have enough money, or did we not have enough money? I don't think the Texans have enough money to pull this trade off. You got to be actually kidding me. How the hell does this even work? This game, it's okay, man. We're going to go back to the 7th round, see what the hell it said. It must have been something like, don't have enough money. Yeah, it would. All right, so everything is in order. We reset Watson's money to be on this team. We trade over the picks with Williams. We get a 3rd round back. We get a 7th pick back, obviously the one we used to get Watson, technically. And now Deshaun Watson is a New York Jet. Where the hell is he? We also trade Sam Darnold to the Washington football team for pick 51 in the 2nd round. Let's start the draft, see what the Houston Texans take at number 2 overall, which should be some sort of quarterback. Of course, Trevor Lawrence. I hate this. I'm going to make the argument that maybe there's a sliver of a chance Trevor doesn't go number 1, and it's instead maybe Zach Wilson or something, but God, what is wrong with this game? The Jaguars are not going freaking linemen unless they somehow get a trade for Stafford, which I just don't think is a smart choice for them. Oh, they got Kaepernick. That's why. That's their Lord and Savior, apparently. We are now on to Houston's pick, and they end up taking a defensive tackle, which makes almost no sense because they just got one basically off of our trade. I'm not going to make the selections for New York. I want to see what they want to take. So at pick number 2, they go defense, which appears to be a pretty damn good choice. Now at pick 19 in the 2nd round, they get a guard, try to protect their new number 1 quarterback. Not a great pick, though. Pick 2 in the 3rd round, they end up with a DT. Got to replace Williams. I did not see the other pick. We will take a look now. I completely forgot they had back-to-back picks there. This team's kind of loaded. They go with a running back, Hubbard. Not a bad choice. I can get on board with that. That's a good choice. They go with a safety. Not a bad choice either. I like the positions, right? They're at least choosing the right positions. They go with a left. And I will admit, the Jets here didn't really have that great of a draft. They really did not. They go with a center, fair enough, but not a great pick. Then they end up with a quarterback, a fast one. Yeah, I don't think that's a really good choice at all for you. I'm gonna be honest. They really did not do very well in the draft, like at all. Like they still had a better draft class, even after getting rid of their 2 first-round picks, than most teams do in general. Jabril is like their only best, like is really their only good player. They kind of sold in the draft, but that is not our problem. The whole point of this was to see which team Deshaun Watson should be looking to go to. And even with Deshaun, not super great. I'm going to keep track of his seasons going along the path here. Obviously not a very good start to this one. 30 touchdowns, 14 picks, I guess isn't terrible, but overall really didn't get much going, especially on the ground game. Didn't really do much. No point in looking at the awards either, so let's go into the Super Bowl. Let's see who wins it. And then, of course, simulate everything else, see what the team looks like for year 2. And that's pretty much that. Keep going on, I suppose, till we hit that 5-year mark. The Browns win a Super Bowl. Shocker. Or for year 2, this is what the team looks like. Didn't really add any talent receiving-wise outside of Jonnu Smith for Mr. Deshaun Watson. Of course, Petrula was actually a star development player. I did not know that, so we'll move him up there for them. As far as the defensive side of things, they have Levante David, but he's on the regression side of things. Mosley needs to be moved over to right side linebacker. McNeil, I don't know if he was already star or not, but he's star, so I'm going to be honest with you. New York is a little bit of an L. And in year 2, a lot better of a performance at 7-9. Deshaun Watson with, I can't really tell, I guess a little bit better of a performance. Not by much, though. Of course, still lacking the numbers that obviously the Jets are hoping for with the compensation that they gave up for him. As of right now, it's definitely not looking like the Jets won the trade. And ironically enough, I believe Sam Darnold has just won the Washington football team a Super Bowl. No, they didn't. They decided, we don't care that we have Darnold. We're still going to be taking Trey Lance. Year 3 is also a bummer at 6-10. As far as Deshaun Watson goes, the most yards, the most touchdowns, but also the most interceptions of his Jets career. Winning the Super Bowl, in case you care, is the Chiefs. All right, another year down, another offseason completed. Crowder's an X factor. Lennon, they ended up grabbing a freaking tight end with Hidden. I don't know how good he is. Interesting to do so. I mean, that's not really on the top tier of your list, and him being that high of an overall, you got to think he was a top 2 round player with the development trait of star. Okay, I mean, sure, man. Looking at the defensive side, did they add anything there? They added Hicks, but he's on the, he's regressing. Trevor Allen, they must have drafted a pretty decent corner. As far as decisions-wise go, I mean, I'm going to be out on going on a limb here and say this is by far the worst team he can join. And I know, Jets fans, this is a little harsh on you because at the end of the day, you could have the worst GM ever, and I think you guys will still land a much, much better draft if that's the compensation you trade away than, the AI Jets did here, because they did about as bad as you could. Like, the Jets should still be able to draft or grab a decent wide receiver in the top of the second round, and they didn't even go for a receiver at all here. 7-9 for the Jets, 4,700 yards. So once again, the most yards by far, the least amount of touchdowns. So Deshaun's getting better, but can you really even blame him for the lack of success? There is really not a lot of receiving talent here, as of course we are about to go on to the final season of 5 years for Deshaun Watson's New York Jets career. Washington loses the Super Bowl here. Hell, he should go to the freaking Washington football team. For the final year, this is what the roster looks like. They got a hidden development running back because that's clearly on the top of their list of needs. They get Linder, who's on the last legs here. He's 33. I don't know how much he's dropped in Madden in real life, but that scares me for our Rams league. I ain't gonna lie. Defensively, they added, once again, another old player, Hilton. Really? Okay, Jets, if you say so. And he does get a playoff shot, though. The division chokes it, and I will show you guys we didn't cheat, because honestly, at this point, it really should have been either cheating or some sort of modern miracle for this to happen, as Deshaun Watson does have his best season yet. I don't think he would have won any awards, though. I mean, if he didn't win an award here, he definitely would have won anyone, any other time. He could have won AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Not the quarterback of the year, though. Interesting stuff. But hey, they've got a shot. Right here it is. Can they win a playoff game? Can they make the Super Bowl? And of course, they lose the very first game. So let's take a look at how they performed. More importantly, how Deshaun Watson performed. That's all we need to know. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, for Deshaun's sake, and I guess the Jets' sake, don't do it. Of course, the Texans are loving it because they ended up getting Trevor Lawrence somehow. So just to be clear, this is where we stand as a Madden franchise community. Just so you know. They'll take. Oh my lord! Now they can't afford it. They won't even relinquish the freaking exclusivity, dude. Come on. Now for the Texans, I think a fair trade would be pick 8, 39, and Samuel from the Panthers, plus another first-round pick next year to the Texans. I think that's kind of fair. It's pretty decently, decently up there, I suppose. But obviously, if I'm the Texans, I want pick 2 or 3. Obviously, if I can get pick 1 overall, I'd take that as well. But that's what I think is the best-case scenario. So let's go into the draft, take a look at what the teams take. Trevor Lawrence finally going number 1 overall. Houston, of course, all the way down to, 7 now? We'll take a look at that pick just to see if they do end up landing a quarterback. There's a very good chance that there's at least one decent remaining quarterback in the top 10, and the Texans have a chance to do that, and they take cornerback with no active quarterbacks on their entire roster, with Trey Lance and Trask still sitting there. Interesting. Of course, for this team, not a whole lot to work with because, of course, you did have to pay a little bit more in quantity over quality, as you did have slightly less quality comparatively to the Jets. Pick 2 and pick, 8? Very different selections. The Panthers were not messing around. They decided to grab a replacement wide receiver right out the gate, whereas the Jets just said, no wide receivers, thank you very much. And we get Petrula again, or Petrula. Yeah, it's just Petrula. Once again, I don't know what's about for that, but here they are. Trey Sermon. Not a great class by any means, but they got Watson. They didn't have as much to work with, so they didn't really make bad selections like the Jets did. They just didn't have many selections to take. First season with the Panthers, 8-8, so a bit better of a start for Deshaun Watson. But of course, personally, not so much. He actually dragged the team down a decent bit with him. 3,500 yards, 485, that's attempts, 25 touchdowns. If he had that many touchdowns, that'd be pretty impressive. All right, Marv from Home Alone it always gets me. It really does look like he got electrocuted. It's just, I don't know. It's unique. I like it, but it just gets me by surprise every time. They go with Thuney, I believe, in free agency. So, adding some talent. Peters, who appears to be a guy they just dropped. Hello? This guy looks ridiculous. That is, okay, this guy's going to be like superstar, maybe even X Factor, honestly. And he is superstar. I just knew it. How do I know things automatically? Because I like and subscribe to channels. Maybe you should try it. Maybe you'll know a lot of stuff as well. And of course, this team has a lot of potential. So with Derek Brown also going up to X Factor, apparently, this team could do it. I think that I put the Dolphins as our last team on the list of teams that Deshaun is likely to be traded to, because I felt like they were the best equipped to make the playoffs and do well in the playoffs. But these Panthers might have come out with a little sneaky sleeper move here. In the playoffs, we are not at 4-12. 31-62, 21 touchdowns, 8 picks. I'm going to go on a limb and say, statistically, they're losing because of Deshaun. Year 3 on the Panthers with easily the best roster so far. Not performing well. It's really strange to see. They got Knox as their starting tight end now. The team looks good. Rashawn Gary joins the team, a little bit of a hybrid type player in this one. I don't know how this team isn't at least making the playoffs here. And another season not making the playoffs. Deshaun Watson Can't even get to 3,000 passing yards now. Does this require a scheme change, perhaps? Fourth year, offense doesn't really change much, and it really shouldn't have to. This is a pretty solid-looking team. Defensively, I see trees are green. They added Matthew Ioannidis. Cornerback number 2 looks to be worse, so something happened there. Once again, it's a playoff caliber team. If this team can't make the playoffs, I don't think Deshaun's going to win a Super Bowl, honestly. This is really the best chance he has, in my opinion. At least maybe not in real life, but in this sim situation. And the Panthers are here. They're here. This is the 4th year, I believe, at 9-7, top of the division. And Deshaun with a new scheme doesn't do outstandingly better, but definitely the best he has been with the Panthers here. About the same touchdowns and picks across the board, though. Of course, McCaffrey, he's doing well, but it's not like he's absolutely carrying like a Derrick Henry type. So, there's really no reason for him to have these poor numbers. But, hey, at least we've seen some progress. Going up against the Vikings will be the first win. It will not be. Will it be his fault again, though? Last time it was with the Jets. It was a pretty bad performance, I can't lie. They only lost by 1 here. And once again, Deshaun just doesn't have it. What do these teams see in him that they want to trade for? I mean, I'm just kidding, but, in game, it's not looking great. So they added a couple of hidden players again. Barker was the hidden they had last time. Greco. Okay, they got themselves a guard tackle. I mean, he's going to be guard for this team, but nice. Okay, I mean, that's still a win, right? That's still positive gaining. Can't be mad with that one. Defensively, they did not add anyone. They actually lost Dante Jackson, unfortunately, so he hikes. And they're in the playoffs again. Of course, not that impressive of one, but 8-8. And here, I believe, was this his most touchdowns? I mean, it's not saying much, but like, okay, I mean, the most touchdowns, right? That's got to mean something to somebody, I guess. All right, going against the Detroit Lions, will he pick up a win? And he won't. He will not. 5 years with the Panthers. He did make more playoff performance appearances than he did with the Jets, but it's not really saying much, as, once again, didn't do well. And he finally did well, but, of course, did not win the game. Let's move on to the final and potentially I think the Jets are probably the most likely spot for him to go to. They do have a lot of potential if they land a decent draft here with that cap space as well. And, of course, he likes the coach. So I think they probably will go there. But I guess the most potential team, highest potential for him. I guess it maybe not that. Maybe the quickest potential team. I know the Texans say they're not interested in Tua, but I think if he gets traded to the Dolphins, it's going to have to include Tua. So pick 3, Tua, and a second round, I think is fair enough, even though they say they don't want it. The Dolphins would exceed. How? All right, Houston with pick number 3. Could still go quarterback if that's what they want to do. And they will with Zach Wilson. Okay, so they weren't happy with it. They're like, okay, well, fine, we'll take Tua. Let's take a look at what this team takes now. They still go quarterback. Trey Lance. I mean, I guess the best way to get value out of your pick, if you don't feel like the value's there, is to take all the quarterbacks, and then people are forced to overtrade to you to get the player. You think it's a bad pick now, just wait 4 years down the line when they get the same value back. What? So this is what the roster looks like for the first year with the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to put Preston up there just because he's star, and we obviously like to have players with the highest development there. 2 good corners, obviously lacking a little bit outside of that, but I don't know. I can't really say much more. It's literally just butt. Definitely think at pick 18, if the Dolphins were able to keep that in a trade for Watson, they probably go wide receiver. Hell, at pick 18, they're automatically going wide receiver, whether they get Watson or not. First year, and even worse than any of the other teams possibly did. 3-13 for Deshaun. 22 Jesus, man. There's no point in looking at any of the awards because he's obviously not going to win any of those numbers. All right, year 2, this is what the roster looks like. See if they added anyone. So Myles Gaskin is the starting running back here, which is, okay. He's got some potential, right? Bowden, move him up. Defensively now, anyone did they add? Baker's there. Kyle Van Noy is still there. Man, these teams really, they're like, Watson will solve all the problems. The second year, 7-9, so definitely an improvement, and Deshaun Watson definitely improved as well, so I guess you have something. I mean, some of the other ones, he got worse every year, so we'll take that at least. Looking at the actual numbers themselves, 26 touchdowns, 10 picks, just under 4,000 yards again, but, well, not again, but under 4,000 yards, which is a big trend for him in this one outside of the Jets. And a lot more yards, though, than the last season. 3,400 for the first season, almost 4,000 here. Hey, Bowden goes up to a star, so he goes up to the number 2 spot as well. Defensive side of things, they just keep getting worse. Regression's probably going to be hitting for most of these guys as well. They're not adding talent, and I haven't even seen any of the rookies. Like, did they even draft anyone? Like, what's going on? All right, so back at square one, 4-12. And, yeah, we're probably going to have to change the scheme because this is a little sad. Man, now all these teams he's going to, I don't really pay attention to Deshaun Watson's simming in general, but, I mean, a lot of these seasons are kind of bad, right? And, yes, you can probably notice that I just got sick of caring about the Super Bowl. We've simmed and seen the results of Super Bowls billions of times. It is what it is. Hey, they got McKinley. That's obviously a huge player to grab, right? Man, oh man. And it's all on auto. I'll show you. Actually, I don't even think it'll matter because it's two different things. The one we would have on would be trades and free agency. This is the one that needs to be on auto, so it wouldn't even matter anyways. So, yeah, this is that's just EA for you, I think. 3-13 again. Oh my. Yeah, Deshaun, don't go to Miami. It's not going to be a good time for you. And pretty much identical numbers to all the seasons, really. Hey, they got a hidden lineman. Sweet, man. They already got a backup quarterback. They're about to replace Watson. Like, yeah, that wasn't worth it. That money is too damn high. And do I even blame them? No. And they make it at a 9-7. Change the scheme up a little bit. And even though the numbers aren't super great, it's still obviously better than he had before. I can't really say much about the running backs because, I don't really pay attention to those. But maybe an award win? I don't know. But so far, it definitely seems that he was the best on the Jets, right? I think we can all agree with that. But if he can win a Super Bowl here, then obviously all of that is forgotten. And no, he can't win a Super Bowl because he can't even win a single game. A single postseason game. What is this, Matthew Stafford? Speaking of Matthew Stafford, if you guys want to see me do something like this potentially with Matthew Stafford, who is likely to be traded, let me know in the comment section below, or by leaving a like. That also gives me a pretty good indicator. Maybe also subscribe if you're new. Do a ton of franchise stuff. Probably not going to be streaming tonight, but Monday through Thursday we will be on twitch.tv/Jeromepkr, so maybe drop a follow. You can sub over there too, but of course it is like $4.99 or whatever it may be, or if you have Twitch Prime, but we're not going to talk about that here, even though I just did. Of course, twitter.com/Jeromepkr, where I'm likely to be talking about the Packers-Bucks game and potentially malding over the fact that we may be the team to let Brady through, which would make me cry so hard. It's like a double whammy loss. Anyways, though, that is the video for today. We uploaded a second channel video yesterday. We may do so again tonight. Not 100%. Yeah, you know what? We will. We'll post a second video, a second channel video tonight as well. Anyways, thanks for watching, which is PKR Plays, by the way. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys come back for next video. Also, let me know who you think they should trade him to. Because, of course, the Lions could be in the hunt here now, too, because new coach, Stafford being traded. Let me know in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully come back for next video. But until next video,